Alrighty. What's up, y'all? I think everything's running pretty well. Let me just double check everything here. I'm gonna go to our YouTubes, pull this up, see how I sound here. Oh, yeah. Mute that. There we go. Perfect. Got this up and running. Let's make sure our so many tabs. Discord is up. There we go. Perfect. Nice. All right. Well, cool. Hey, I am glad you're here. No one's in the chat at the moment. I've got something in my it's my shades. Before I guess we talk, I haven't seen some of you for a little bit, and you probably know. I'm hoping you know, so it's not just confusing, and you're like, "Where's Chester?" But yeah, I got in a car accident almost 2 weeks. I guess it's 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Yeah, I've never been in one before. Very scary. Lots of collisions and damage and all of that stuff. So I had to go see some special doctors so they could check out my bones and injuries and stuff. And thankfully, I've got all my limbs. I'm alive. I'm subjectively relatively healthy, whatever that means. I'm still going through some stuff. I've got some chiropractor sessions I have to go to, and a little bit of kind of rehabilitation therapy for my knees. Nothing crazy cakes. And then, yeah, the reason why I've been kind of missing in action is I also got a concussion. So that's no phone, no laptop, no TV, no harsh lighting, nothing. So I couldn't do this last Monday, even though it's so easy to do. It's from my own home. But yeah, I couldn't do any of that stuff. We couldn't do our virtual meetup, which was supposed to be last week. So we just had a regular youth group meeting, which was kind of last second. I'm very sorry about that. And it's also the main reason why we didn't do our corn maze is the slippery floor, and my knees are kind of shaky. My legs kind of give out every once in a while if I step the wrong way. And it was a little scary to think about slipping and falling and bumping my head, and then now I've got another concussion, and that means I'm out of the game even longer. So yeah, not fun. Anywho, I'm still having a little bit of light sensitivity, so I've got my shades when I have to like be around a lot of light. I might just keep them close by because you can see I've got my ring light on. It's on the lowest setting, but it is still strong. So yeah, maybe I'll just keep them right here. Um, cool. Well, I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are having fun. I know this is new, and so we're not like accustomed to doing it yet and hanging out, and this might not even be the best day to do this, but I'm gonna keep doing it, and we'll keep finding a rhythm that works for us. And I really want to hear your hearts and your minds and the things that are going on with you and Christ and your faith. And hopefully, this show can kind of wiggle some of those thoughts, kind of shake loose some of those things that are maybe in the back of our head that we have a harder time articulating until we see something or until we're like in it conversationally. And as much as I love the Bible, I'm a big Bible nerd and a very big advocate for people reading the Bible. Sometimes it's a little difficult to wade through. The he begat this and they had this kid and it went on and it can be quite trying to get through that. And there are a lot of biblical concepts, there are a lot of theological concepts, there are a lot of big things about God that this show, I think, will kind of shake loose, even though it's not inherently a Christian faith based dominated like show. It is just a normal show. Um, but yeah, it should be fun. I'm gonna get the show started. I think I'm probably by myself again this week, more or less because everybody is on trying to figure out what's going on. But I wanted to get this here, so maybe you can watch this, hang out, and you can hear some of the commentary that I have while you're watching it. I'll tell you when I start it, and then I'll talk a little bit at the end. And then if maybe somebody pops in, awesome. And if they don't, awesome. It's all good. All right, let me pull up the show. Oh, I'm such a dork. I hit skip on the intro. There we go. It's a mortal sin. You never skip the intro. There we go. And I'm actually going to. There we go. Come on. Oh, that's not it. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to. There we go. I promise. I'm clever. I can figure it out. I have the show, but I'm trying to pull up a picture in picture here. I think it would probably be better. There we are. There we are. Look at me. Look how clever I am. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to click play. I'm going to count it down. So if you want to click play on your TV or your phone or whatever it is that you're watching on, we can watch it together. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, here we go. Three, two, one, go. Awesome. So last week was The Boy in the Iceberg, and Katara and her brother found Aang trapped inside of a giant like iceberg bubble, and they realized he's been trapped in that iceberg for 100 years, and in that 100 years the Fire Nation has attacked. They haven't seen an airbender for 100 years, so they think they're all gone. Oh, here's our previously. 400 years. The Avatar returns. I know I said this last week, but I love that there are native people, Inuit people represented in this show. I'm half Native American, and it's rare to find tribal people, First Nations people represented in things. Hmm. Have you cleaned your room? I'm a lot like Sokka, the way that he feels about the sensational. Sokka doesn't believe that his bison can fly, even though magic exists in his world. That's rough. You could see that. It hurt all around. Did you guys bring a drink? Did you get a snack? I just wanted some water, so that I'm just. I was gonna make tea, but water just sounded better. War paint. Always like to remind people that painting one's face is not inherently feminine. Like, I come from a long generation of people that paint their faces. Although I guess we makeup and paint, just different words. But look at Sokka. He is ready. He is brave and lucky. Very lucky. Sokka's been entrusted to protect his tribe. All the other men have left to go fight in the war, and it's Sokka's duty to protect everyone while they're there. That's a lot. He's only like 15. That's a lot to put on the shoulders of a 15-year-old. Yeah, I think Zuko's 16 or 17, and Aang is like 12, maybe 13. That sacrifice, right? He turned himself in so others would be fine and unhurt. Oh, forgive me if I'm bouncing off the screen here for a second. Oh no, I'm still injured, so oh my back is like crazy messed up. Oh yeah. Mm. We're gonna talk about that, about this scene. There's Iroh. There's Uncle Iroh. Yep, yep. Can you tell I can't sit for very long these days? My back is like, I feel like an old man. If any of you take a martial arts, practice martial arts, you might recognize that a lot of their movements are some of the movements maybe you practice, because all of their fighting styles are based off of real martial arts. Zuko is zealous. Not jealous with a J, but zealous with a Z. We'll talk about that word. That's exactly what that's exactly what he did to Sokka. These first two episodes, we'll talk after. Nice. That's episode 2. I was saying episode 1 and episode 2 were actually the pilot episode, and so they hadn't worked out some of the characters and even some of the designs still. So you'll find that starting at episode 3, things will change, like the way certain people look, or the way certain people behave. The most noticeable one is Uncle Iroh. He kind of seems aloof at the moment, but every episode after that, he's like very deep, very spiritual. He's got his head, settled kind of thing. But yeah, anywho, uh, lots of things in this episode. Again, the creators of the show were drawing from lots of religions, and so some of the things we are aligned with because they're from like our Christian faith, and other things aren't. For example, the Avatar reincarnates, and so we don't believe in reincarnation. That comes from another religion, but there are lots of things that they draw from, like for example, Christ, when he meets his friends, the very first friends that he meets are fishing people, fishermen. And the very first people that Aang meets are also fishing people, fishing men. And so he is the person that brings hope to their world. You can hear their grandmother talking about that, about how she hasn't felt hope in so long. And now that the Avatar has returned, she feels hope again. And that's the way that we express ourselves as Christians, right? Our hope is in Christ. We sing about that. We can read that in scripture, and we can feel that in our hearts. And so there's a lot of little connections there throughout the show, things that maybe you picked up on, maybe you didn't pick up on. As we kind of jump in there further, you'll find more and more of them. But yeah, very, very cool show, very interesting. It's a little slower to start with. We gotta kind of world build and introduce some of the characters, and it starts to get deep very quickly. But yeah, if you've ever watched any show from the beginning to the end, you know it takes a couple episodes to find its kind of rhythm. But yeah, that's Avatar. There's lots of cool things. There's lots of really fun writing. I love that the first kind of interaction between Zuko, the Fire Prince, and Aang is that Zuko has been searching for him. And you can see in his search, he's searching because it's not that he wants to help him, it's that he wants to hurt him. And when I look at Zuko, I see probably a lot of people that have had that kind of anger in their heart towards Christ and Christianity, to other people in the faith. And, they are zealously, that's the word that we use, zealously coming after them. And we're going to find out what happens to Zuko. We're going to watch his story. But there is a lot of, you can see it. There's a lot of hurt and bitterness and anger in him, and it's swelling up in him, where he's saying things with anger. But there's also something in him that's honorable, that is good. He didn't hurt Sokka. He could have hurt Sokka, but he didn't. He could have hurt Grandma, but he didn't. He could have burned all of them, but he chose to make it so that way when he used his fire, that it went well above their heads. So you can see there's something very honorable in him, and there's a word, a dichotomy. There are these kind of two sides to him, and we see that more and more as the show continues. But I imagine a lot of us have maybe a little bit of Zuko in us. especially people my age, or you get older, people kind of get hurt by the church. But I imagine there's maybe some of you guys that feel like Sokka too. I know I mentioned it earlier. I feel like Sokka every once in a while, where he lives in a world with incredible possibilities. There's magic all around him. People are able to bend water, earth, fire, air. There's a flying bison, know, and he didn't want to believe, even with all of that evidence around him, that the bison could fly. It seemed impossible to him. And when it did fly, he was overjoyed because there's something in him that wants to believe, but because it seems irrational in his own mind, regardless of the evidence, he's not willing to believe. He's not willing to connect with it until it's right in his face. And a lot of people feel like that, and I have my times where I'm like that. I'm rooted in my own logic, and sometimes I have to get out of my own way to see the miraculous. Uh, Anywho's, yeah, there's lots of that stuff. I hope that it's raising interesting questions. I hope that you're enjoying what you're watching so far. There's lots of characters to come. The team isn't built yet. Just like Christ, it took time for him to call his disciples. They didn't all come at once, so the team isn't done being built. And I'm curious to see who you relate with, who you like, who you have trouble with, who you don't like. Keep all of that in mind. And when we're hanging out live, when you're here together with me, write it down, put it in the chat, get in the Discord, talk about it with me. I'm really interested in all of those things. There's a character we haven't met yet where I feel like I probably relate with her the most. Even though I identify as a male, I really like this character, even though she's a girl. But yeah, really good writing ahead. Hey, I hope you guys are doing okay. I know it's Halloween time. There's all these celebrations and harvest parties and things going on. Some sports are winding down, and I hope that you guys are good. I hope you guys are having a good time, and that you're finding rest where you can find it and working hard where you have to. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that this old noggin is is healing, and I want to keep doing new things with you. I want to keep exploring the new, finding what works, what doesn't work, and you guys get to comment on that. If this is an experiment, if it's a complete disaster, we don't have to keep doing it. We don't have to keep going. But yeah, you guys deserve the best, and I want to create and craft in something that is the best, or at least the best that I can do. There's new things ahead. We've got some really cool changes happening to the look and the style of our youth group. There should actually be a new newsletter that's coming out tonight. As soon as I finish up with this, I'm actually gonna complete that and send it out. So there's all kinds of new stuff, links to our Spotify account, links to all of our socials, lots of new communication. I'm going to send out like all kinds of different things for y'all. But yeah, I'm just going to keep trucking along, keep doing my best. You guys are incredible. Every time I'm around you, I am really just like overjoyed about how amazing you all are, how good our community is. But yeah, I love your faces. I will see you guys on Wednesday.